It's no longer a big secret that iPhones aren't doing as well as they used to from both volume and profits standpoint, but after so many years of relying primarily on this segment to drive overall business growth, Apple has managed to adapt incredibly quickly to a stagnating mobile industry, focusing more than ever on the increasingly lucrative services and wearables divisions. The Wearables division lumps together Apple Watch and AirPods sales, and it alone generated over $5.5 billion in revenue for the April to June 2019 timeframe, up an astounding 48% from an already impressive result posted during the same period last year. While the Cupertino-based tech giant doesn't provide the actual shipment numbers for those two exceptionally popular product lineups, we dug deeper in market research to find out more. The International Data Corporation, for instance, estimated that Apple sold almost 13 million wearable devices between January and March 2019, while Counterpoint Research says that the company was responsible for shipping 1 in 3 smartwatches around the world in the first calendar quarter. The number is that much more remarkable when considering the industry is actually thriving, unlike the lifeless smartphone market, and according to all the long-term forecasts, Apple's dominance is in no imminent danger of being challenged. But exactly how did we get in this situation where Samsung, Fitbit, and Huawei's combined share barely makes up half of Apple's smartwatch sales numbers? Obviously, it's complicated, but here are some possible answers. First, Google isn't even trying anymore. Quick, name 3 Wear OS powered smartwatches. Or how about 2? Okay, I'll settle for a good one, as long as you actually know somebody who owns it and will recommend it to a friend for something other than a stylish design or reasonable price point. Crickets, right? Naturally, Google is entirely to blame for all the shortcomings of an Android Wear platform that had Samsung, Motorola, and LG in its corner back in 2014. Instead of actively working on improving things like battery life, health monitoring, and overall system fluidity, or even taking a gamble on a flagship Pixel watch as a sign of trust in the future of Wear OS, the search giant rebranded the platform last year, focused on small things and UI refinements rather than big and bold changes in the latest updates, and it tried to build up an upgraded Snapdragon chip that's not much better than its ancient predecessor. No wonder Wear OS has become an afterthought for most market research companies, leaving us reading between the lines of their reports to find out that its share sits well below 12% in the US. That's a genuinely embarrassing number for an operating system that was born before the Apple Watch lineup. Now, secondly, Samsung focused on the wrong things for far too long. Speaking of the Apple Watch birth, did you know that the first version of the world's best-selling wearable device needed a measly 8 months to claim more than half of 2015's smartwatch shipments? Meanwhile, 2014 released products like Samsung's Gear Live, the LG G Watch, the Moto 360 were still trying to find their feet. In a way, that continues to be the case for Samsung's smartwatch portfolio, which has yet to reach the maturity and stability of the Apple Watch lineup. The Apple Watch Series 4 doesn't look radically different from the Series 0 on the outside, but when it comes to functionality, power, convenience, and ease of use, there's absolutely no comparing the two. In contrast, the Galaxy Watch Active by Samsung has almost nothing in common with the design of early Gear's devices. But deep down, very little has drastically changed. Like most non-Apple smartwatches, the Galaxy Watch and the Galaxy Watch Active are still seeking that compelling use case to help them break free from being considered by many people mere smartphones for their wrists. Too much experimentation and yes, too much variety can send the wrong message to customers who want to trust you have a long-term plan of improving and refining a general concept rather than constantly trying new things for the sake of trying. Looking back, it's obvious Apple decided early on its smartwatches that they would attempt to keep their owners healthy, always connected, and, well, alive, instead of dazzling them with fancy designs and unique navigation methods and whatnot. In other words, if Samsung ever wants to catch up with Apple, it should pick a form factor and a name already and stick with those while trying to bring meaningful upgrades and new features to the table. Thirdly, Huawei, Fitbit, and all the others need to do better as well. It's honestly shocking that the world's second largest smartphone vendor and one of the tablet market's biggest recent risers merely accounted for 2.8% of global smartwatch sales during Q1 2019. We're talking about Huawei here, which has a microscopic share in the smartwatch market. Like Samsung, Huawei seems to have realized Wear OS is a losing card, but unlike Tizen, the Chinese tech giant doesn't have a solid backup to play instead. As for Fitbit, the company sure has the activity tracking angle covered professionally and reliably, but that's only one of the key boxes a smartwatch has to tick nowadays to be considered a decent challenger to the throne. Garmin also has a lot of work to do in many other areas, from apps to convenience, while Fossil is arguably Google's most productive and valuable hardware making partner, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to be translating into mainstream popularity. All these brands and others like them should substantially step up their advertising efforts, focus on identifying consumer needs they can answer, and perhaps pressure Google into vastly improving Wear OS. Or even start from scratch with a new platform if they want to eat up a larger slice of a rapidly increasing global smartwatch pie. Instead, they risk losing relevance even more as the Apple Watch keeps on adding feature after feature, and especially so if Apple manages to improve the weakest point of its watch, the battery life. And this sums up the different reasons why the Apple Watch remains the single most popular smartwatch and why others don't seem to be catching up. Thank you for watching this. My name is Vic with PhoneArena, but all of the research behind this story was made by my colleague Adrian, and you can read more of his articles at the link in the description to the story. And are you using an Apple Watch? And what do you think about the smartwatch market in general? We're looking forward to your thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you in our next video.